Hey guys, how are you? Welcome to our weekly recap of the Hormonal Summit that Cherish and I attended last month. To say that this summit was eye-opening for me, and I know it was for Cherish as well, is an understatement. We learned so much, and I love that after 4.5 years of using these oils every single day, that I can go into something like this and have my eyes reopened to the power of these oils. Honestly, with the oils, I haven't always used them for emotional support. They haven't always been like my immediate thought. I just have dealt with a lot of like stressors and anxiety sometimes, and like some of my postpartum stuff. I just dealt with it and like toughed it out. And you would think that after everything that I've seen with these oils that I would think, hey, there's got to be an oil for that, but I just didn't. The main way that I was using them is, to keep my family healthy, and for like aches and pains. And obviously, like one of my favorite blends is Balance. One of my favorite roller balls that I have is like my liquid Xanax that we joke around about. But I haven't like dived deep into the emotional aspect of what these oils can do for us, and that is what I have been doing over the last several weeks, and it has been amazing. Dr. Marisa Snyder put on this hormonal summit for using essential oils, and she had, I think, around like 30 or 35 speakers, and they, each of them was an individual like podcast type thing that we could listen into. And it was incredible what these women have gone through, what they have, there's a lot of doctors that were speakers, what they have like prescribed, and the results that they've seen. So I am going to be looking down at my notes a lot. I took a lot of notes throughout this summit. And like I said, this is something I'm kind of just regurgitating what I've learned and what I've heard. This isn't necessarily like firsthand experience, so I want to make sure that I say it right. So that is why I might be looking down at my notes a lot. But Dr. Marisa has this book, The Essential Oils Hormone Solution, and I can't recommend it enough. If you are looking to like reclaim your energy and focus, maybe lose weight naturally, if you're premenopausal, if you're postmenopausal, if you're dealing with postpartum, if you're dealing with thyroid or like sluggishness, adrenal issues, energy issues, this book is going to be your best friend. I have not been able to put it down. There have been so many great ones that I've already pulled from this. And it's just, like I said, opened my eyes to a whole nother area of these oils that I can't wait to share with you guys. And tomorrow in the I Am Fabulous, I'm going to be diving in even a little bit deeper for like emotional well-being. But today I'm going to talk about a little bit, I'm going to try to keep this kind of short. I don't want to keep you guys on here too long, but I'm going to try to talk about some overcoming burnout, exhaustion and mood swings, and using essential oils to help with that, as well as like stress and anxiety a little bit, and just some ideas that, sure, they sound easy enough, but they don't enter everyone's mind to try to do, to try to combat that. So, and the first thing I want to say is I know that a lot of times with this kind of work, it can feel very, like you can feel very vulnerable in doing that and diving in. You're not always going to like what you find is necessarily like the causer of your stress. It could be a past trauma. It could be something in your life right now that you're not really wanting to let go of, a friendship, a relationship, things like that, but that you may need to. So I do understand that this feels like a vulnerable thing to go through, but the people that you are drawn to, like energetically, I guarantee they have dived deep into themselves and have worked hard. You don't put off that confidence and that aura of just like attracting people, the kind of person that you want to be around, like you don't put that off unless you have dove deep into yourself and worked hard on it. So no one, I don't feel, is exempt from needing to work on themselves, and you should never feel like it's a selfish thing. I know as moms especially, you take care of the whole house, right? Take care of your kids, your husband, all the bills, the household, the chores, like a lot of stuff. And it can feel kind of selfish to take that time to yourself, but it's not, because you cannot fill from an empty cup. And I know, at least in my house, and I know goes for a lot of my friends and family, like my mood and my emotional state dictates the entire house. So if I'm in a bad mood, it makes it really hard on everyone in my house. I know it does. And so you're actually helping so much, like your whole home, by working on yourself and, coming in and starting your day in a good mood and ending your day in a good mood. And even if that means taking a little bit of time away from your kids or a little bit of time away from your husband, they're going to thank you for it, because your emotional well-being is going to be in such a better place. So this was a talk from Nicole Moultrie. I might be butchering her last name. And she she's with doTERRA, and she focuses on essential oils to help maintain and balance healthy stress levels. Over her years of practice, she's noticed that our bodies have patterns in the way we respond to stress, and when we figure out what these patterns are, it will help us control our response better. So pay attention to your triggers, so that you can be more proactive with reducing those stressors. And creating a system. So something that I've noticed that I have tried to take completely out of my morning is my phone. If I am trying to look at emails or responding to messages, or if I was to be scrolling social media, my patience are like half of what they would be with my kids and my husband. So I have taken that completely out. I do not get on my phone. I try really hard. I can't say that I'm perfect at this, and like I said, I'm just kind of diving into this and really trying to pay attention to what my triggers are. So I haven't been doing this for a really long time. It's been about a week and a half, but I have tried to completely cut that out in the mornings. I wake up, I don't even look at my phone. I get ready for my day. I go downstairs, I make breakfast from most of the time from all of us, if my husband has to leave early, not him, but I make a hot breakfast for everyone, and then get my son's school lunch all made and prepared. And I have noticed a huge difference in my mood in the morning, because my mind, as soon as I start looking at my phone, my mind starts running, and I'm like, oh, I gotta message that person back, I gotta do this, and I just turn that off. I have time for that later. I do not need to be focusing on that during that hour and 15 minutes that I have from when I come downstairs to when we need to be out the door for my son to drop him off for school. And I've noticed a huge difference. So just pay attention to that. Take a look. Like if you feel yourself firing off, take a look at maybe what caused that. What were you doing? Where was your mind? Instead of, if you're having low patience with your husband or your kids, what were you focusing on instead of that? I saw a thing that anxiety is when you're focusing on something that isn't important to you, and then that's what causes anxiety. So pay attention to that. And the most important thing that we can do is be consistent with our approach to stress reduction, whether it's using our oils regularly or one of the other methods that you can come up with, like working out, maybe eating healthy. Just be consistent with it. You can't expect to see results immediately. Nothing is going to show you results immediately. It takes time. It takes creating a plan and a schedule, and doing it consistently, and then you're going to realize a week or 2 or 3 or 4 even after, how much simpler things are, or how much it is actually working. And something else I wanted to show or say is at our convention back in September, they showed so many results. These essential oils are groundbreaking in combating stress and anxiety. So if you put the work in, if you make the routine with these oils, you will see results. There's no doubt about that, but you just can't expect it overnight. And if one oil maybe isn't working well for you, try another one. Spend a week using one protocol or whatever, and then if you're not necessarily seeing some results, then switch it up. Every single oil reacts differently to every single person. So just find what is your oil and go from there. Obviously drinking water is another huge one that she pressed on. You should be drinking half of your body weight in ounces. So for every 100 pounds, you should be drinking 50 ounces of water a day. And that may sound really hard, but being sick and being stressed out and burnt out and having anxiety, that's hard too. So put the work in. It's not that hard to drink water. It's not that hard to take supplements. I get that a lot, because that's something I'm going to talk about here in a minute, is having a good baseline of supplements. I know we talk about that a lot, but it's because it is proven. It is doTERRA's number one product, is our supplements. They work. They would not have people coming back every single month purchasing them if they did not work. They just wouldn't. So getting on a good whole food line of supplements is going to make a world of difference. And yes, it is 6 to 12 pills a day. But if your doctor prescribed you a medication and said, this is going to fix your stress, and you really wanted to fix it, you would take those 6 pills a day. You wouldn't tell your doctor, that's 6 pills, I just don't know if I can do that. Like if he told you or she told you, like, this is going to fix your problem, you would do it. And no, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not telling you, I'm not giving you medical advice, but I'm just saying, it's perspective. You can do hard things. You can. You do them every single day. So just pick and choose, and you will get used to it. I take 12 or plus supplements a day, and it's in 2 swallows, and it's done in less than 30 seconds. It's not hard. So you just remember that. You can do hard things. Drinking all of your water is not that hard. You just have to make it a goal of yours. A very, very interesting fact that actually wasn't in this talk, it was in one other one, but I wanted to make sure I told you guys. It is expected that by 2030, which is only 10 years from now, I know that when you say 2030, sorry, it seems like it's like this really far away date, but it is going to be 2020 in less than 2 months. So 2030 is only 10 years from now. The leading disability in the world will be depression and anxiety. Take a second to think about that. Like, we as human beings are doing something wrong if that is the leading disability in the world in 2030. Like, we have got to get control of this. Like, I posted something yesterday on Instagram. It's like, being burnt out is not a badge of honor, and that is how it is treated so often. I'm just so busy, I don't have time for that. People talk about it like it's something they're proud of. Being busy does not mean you're necessarily being successful. You can be successful and still live a very calm life. And it just takes putting things in order, putting things in place that, practices in place, asking for help, making schedules, making routines, saying no. That was something else that was talked about, is it is okay to say no to things. If you don't absolutely want to be a volunteer at your kid's class, you don't have to be. It doesn't make you any less of a parent. If you don't absolutely want to spend the weekend with some friends, even though you really enjoy those friends, if you would rather spend it with your family, you can say no. There's nothing wrong with saying no. I say no a lot. And everything's still fine. You can still nurture friendships and relationships, but still say no. So, we've got to get a grasp on this anxiety and stress level in people. It's not okay. It's not okay to be like that. And another thing I want you to take a look at is look at your stress level. Is it sustainable? The long-term effects of constant stress are terrifying. Like heart disease, heart attacks, high blood pressure. These are serious issues that can be caused by high levels of stress, constant high levels of stress. You don't want that. And you don't want to model that for your kids. You know, you hear young kids and we laugh about it, but you hear them say like, oh, I'm just so stressed out. Where do you think they're hearing that from? They're hearing that from their parents. It's becoming a normal thing, like that they have to be stressed or it's okay to be stressed. It is not. It does not do good things for your body. And it is in our control. That's the thing. You know, genetics don't create stress. We create stress. You know, there's some things that you're dealt a hand with disease-wise or sickness-wise that we didn't really have control over, but we have control over being stressed out. It just requires us to say no more often, potentially. It requires us to, like I said, put in practices, put in schedules, routines. And I want to repeat, I am not preaching this. I am just regurgitating what I heard and all the great things that I heard in this talk. I am currently working on this. I am guilty of so many of these. But I can say that my eyes have been opened, and I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for my kids. So I'm making changes that need to happen so that we don't have burnout and stress and anxiety. So a few things that I want to touch on, and then I'm going to get going. I don't want to be on here too long, but I know Cherish and I talk about these so much, is the lifelong vitality. Getting on a good line of supplements is going to make the world of difference. Our food does not have the things that it used to have in it. We are not getting the vitamins. We are not getting the nutrients that we need to sustain energy and to help create low levels of stress. So can't recommend these enough. And like I said, yes, it can be a lot of pills, but you can do hard things. You can do it. If you really want to, you can do it. And supplements in general can be a little bit overwhelming. Like I said, I take these plus quite a few, but start small. You know, just start out with this, and then over time you can add to it. You don't have to bite it all off at one time. Just start small. Or start with just a probiotic to help get your gut health better. Start with the Terrazyme, a digestive enzyme before you eat to help digest food, just to get a better belly going. And some of the other tips, adaptive. So this has been a daily take in my house. This is added to my supplements. This is doTERRA's new line. It's our calming blend. It is fighting things like ADHD, anxiety. I have gotten to where I will never not have this in my house. I take it every single morning, and the difference that I have seen in that alone has been incredible. It comes in the soft gels. It also comes in a roller, a 10 ml roller, and then it comes in a 15 ml bottle of oil. So you can diffuse it. You can put it in your purse. If your child suffers from anxiety or stress, then you can put this in their backpack, and then you can take this. So there's 3 different ways to apply it or take it. I like all 3. So that is a line that I would absolutely look into if you are dealing with high levels of stress in your house, or if your kids are dealing with high levels of stress. Another one is copaiba. You can put a drop underneath your tongue. It's going to give you immediate effects, along with frankincense. Or you can take the soft gels. I like to take them before bed. I've talked about this quite a bit, along with Serenity. That is our restful complex. I just feel like I get such a great sleep, and it allows me to turn my head off so that I'm not stressing at night. And then balance. Good old balance. I love to put a drop of this in my hands and rub on the bottom of my feet first thing in the morning. Also put a drop in your hands anytime you're feeling overwhelmed or short-fused, and just take a deep inhale, and you're going to see big differences with that as well. Another thing, be proactive with this. So if you know you're going into a stressful situation, especially with the holidays coming up, which again, you can always say no. Remember that to any of these events. But if you do find yourself having to go to an event where there might be some people that cause stress at, a holiday event, pop one of these prior to going. Or a copaiba and a drop of frankincense underneath your tongue. Be proactive. Like, you don't need to be in the state of stress and then be trying to put the fire out. Like, put it out before it even starts. The great thing with these is like I've said a ton in the past, there's no bad side effects. If you go and that person didn't show up to the event, or maybe they were on their best behavior and they didn't stress you out, there's absolutely nothing bad that's going to happen to your body because you took one of these. So be proactive with it. That's what I have been really working on, you know. Keep a roller ball in your purse at all times. That way you know that any situation you're going into throughout the day, you have that. Like, you're prepared. You've got your ammo, if you will. Like, you are not going to go into any situation that you can't handle because you have that oil in your purse. I have probably about 10 plus oils in my purse at all times, and then I have some in my car too. So I try to be prepared for every situation and have my kid be prepared for every situation. And like I talked about a little bit earlier, this is the last thing, just take a small bite at first. You don't need to own every single one of the products that I just talked about. Drink your water and say no more, and you know, just have the adaptive roller with you everywhere you go. That's a great place to start. And then as that keeps working, you can keep adding to or taking away from, or whatever you find that works for you. But you don't need oils to cause you stress. These are supposed to help. So bite off a little bit. You do not need to overhaul your entire life or your entire house all at one time. So I hope you guys found this helpful. Like I said, please don't this came from like a safe, a safe place in my heart to you guys. My eyes have been wide open. You guys are going to be seeing a lot more emotional support, blends and tips and oils coming from me, because I just think that this is incredible, and I'm like really bummed out that I didn't dive into this a little bit sooner. But once you know better, you can do better, right? So let me know if you guys have any questions. Again, it's the Essential Oils Hormone Solutions. If you guys are interested, you can get it on Amazon. Just Google search it. There's all kinds of places you can get it from. And I hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday. And I will be back in here tomorrow for the I Am Fabulous class. I hope that if you guys can't at least catch me live, that you guys will watch it in the replay, because Desiree Megendog, I may be butchering her last name too, is amazing. And I have learned so much already. So have a wonderful day, you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.